What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy Wormy. I'm coming at you with another video, and at this point in time, we're talking Marvels. Oh, the Marvels. What was supposed to be called Captain Marvel 2, which was supposed to be called the A-Force, which was supposed to set up this ultimate world and be Brie Larson's starring role, is now well, in a bad situation, because how this movie started off was nobody wanted it. Let's be real. Captain Marvel was, this is in that time of just the perfect marketing ploy. You had to see this movie in order to understand Avengers Endgame. You had to see this movie. You had to understand this movie. This movie was super important. And in reality, it was nothing. It was garbage. There was no real connection to the other movies, except maybe a post-credit scene, but I don't even remember what the post-credit scene was. I saw the movie once in theaters. I didn't like it. It was annoying. But from what we got there, you know, it became big. They wanted to push Captain Marvel everywhere. Well, Miss Marvel. This isn't Miss Marvel. This is a comic book writer that self-inserted herself into it. Kamala Khan is not real. This is Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel is somebody completely different, who they never even, well, they gave us Annette Bening's Captain Marvel, but that wasn't even Captain Marvel. So let's be real. Anyways. In this universe, Captain Marvel was always going to fail with how they have him set up, her set up. The comics haven't been successful basically ever. They're nothing more than a disaster, and it has moved forward. Captain Marvel 2, this is an older one. I know this comes from last year, but I believe this one comes about, I think this is the second time it got pushed back, actually. Not the first time. I think this is the second time it got pushed back. Well, we got another pushback. Disney delays Brie Larson's Captain Marvel 2 again. And yes, this is from a few weeks ago, understandably, but there's context here. And, you know, we found out that they were getting, well, a pushback through a poster. The poster that, man, that is not a good look for anybody on this poster, is it? I'll let your guys' imagination do the work. Anyways, we found out through a poster that this movie was getting pushed back. We later find out it's because they have some post-production work that's in the works. You know, it's having issues, you know, a bunch of VFX work that's going to be on par with Ant-Man and Quantumania and be the same thing that we've been getting, just a CGI mess over and over and over again. That's what we were getting told. Well, we're getting told something differently now, because from Comic Book News, reason for the Marvel's MCU delay worse than thought. There is no doubt that the MCU is having major problems, which just might be another Star Wars for Disney. I think the MCU is already Star Wars for Disney. I think the MCU will more than likely become the next Star Wars. I think it's overstayed its welcome. I think they've butchered it, bastardized it, broke it so many times that at this point in time, it's just annoying to go watch. But let's get into what they're saying here. So, second time, I think it was the third or fourth time, actually, it got pushed back in November, from summer of July release to a November release. The Wrap reported on the new release date and offered that the delay was to give the film more time for post-production, which is something that fits with all the reports surrounding Marvel's VFX problems, such as with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. You could do Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. You could do She-Hulk. You could insert MCU show here. They're having VFX problems because the VFX creators aren't, they're not wanting to work. They're claiming to be overworked. They're claiming to be underpaid. Granted, a lot of people claim that, but I kind of do agree with them. They don't want to get the best people. They want to get everybody cheap, and they want to overwork them and burn them out. There is a burnout problem in Hollywood and in these big companies. That is a reported thing that's going on. How hard are they being worked? I don't know. I do a day job, and as of right now, I work like maybe 10 to 12 hours on a average day, depending on what's going on. Then I come home and do this, so I don't see where your burnout's coming from, but I don't know what you guys are doing all day. I once wanted to be a VFX artist. I still have some of the training. I still know how to do some of it. I don't have the process. So, but hey, their VFX work has been garbage. It's been PS2 levels of VFX works for years. You can watch She-Hulk. There are scenes in She-Hulk where you can literally watch the tracing. You can literally watch the tracking. You can watch how it's set on a track and is supposed to move a certain way, and it doesn't look natural the way the movement is, the way for what she's supposed to be doing. There's a way to trick your eyes to making it think that it's natural. They didn't do that trick. So they've been having VFX problems for a long time. Now, excuse me. Cut that out. They've been having VFX problems for a long time. Now, we are hearing that, now take this with a grain of salt it's coming from two different people, as I point out here. However, the real problem might not just be the VFX with the Marvels, as two sources offer a different reason, which is even more worrisome. This first source, I do not respect at all. I do not like at all. 9 times out of 10, I ignore everything this first source says, because this first source is nothing more than a shill and has been known to get things wrong more often than not. She is annoying, she is grating, and she's worse than me. Well, she's worse than a lot of other things too. According to YouTuber Grace Randolph, the reason for the Marvel's delay is that the movie tested poorly with audiences and screen tests. Certainly the VFX weren't done for the screen test, said to be held months ago, so they can't be able to be all to blame. The movie's crap. They're probably undergoing more reshoots. This movie has been reshot to death. It's constantly undergoing reshots. Marvel's constantly doing reshoots, constantly injecting stuff into there. Supposedly, the Ant-Man Quantumania had a buttload of reshoots. It was supposed to be a completely different movie. What ended up happening was they wanted to Disneyfy it. It got noted to death. And why it's such a jarbled nonsense mess is because of the reshoots, is because of how many reshoots there are. And you can see it. You can feel when oh, this is getting good. This is getting good. Oh, that's a reshoot. This is getting good. This is getting good. This is a reshoot. You can feel it, and it makes it a disjointed thing. That's what this is going to be. That's what this is going to be, but on steroids. The Marvels was pushed from summer to winter due to poor audience test scores, so Marvel wants to do yet another round of reshoots to avoid, well, another round of this kind of mess. Well, it's Grace, it's gonna be a mess. I mean, everyone loves Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors, and Michael Pfeiffer, but with Brie Larson and Emma Valin, that could be a Star Wars level bloodbath of toxicity. And hopefully, not only does Disney Marvel not want that for themselves, but they don't want to do that to their actors. Nobody likes Brie Larson. Yeah, people enjoy Paul Rudd because he has a personality, because he clowns himself. That's why people like him. People like Michael Pfeiffer, I'm probably butchering his last name, because he is a skilled actor and is a proven actor. One of my favorite movies with him in it is Ghost in the Darkness. People like Jonathan Majors for some reason. I do think he's a decent actor. I do like a lot of the work he's doing. Hey, he's going to be in Creed 3. I do kind of want to see Creed 3. I don't know how good Creed 3 is going to be doing, but that's a story for another time. Tale for another time. Nobody likes Brie Larson. Nobody liked the Marvels. Nobody likes Ant-Man and Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. This is going to be another Disney movie. And no, this Star Wars level toxicity, no, what it's going to be is people basically pointing out this is shite. I honestly don't know how toxic it will be if nobody goes to see the movie, because I think this is going to be a flop. Randolph continued, so while Disney Marvel refuses to admit defeat publicly, totally understandable, never let them see you sweat. I think behind closed doors, it's a downright sauna considering the huge scheduling changes that have been made so abruptly. That is them admitting defeat. They've been admitting defeat day in and day out. Their quarterly earnings show that they've defeated. Disney has been defeated. They just won't admit defeat. But they've been admitting defeat. They just don't want to say they've admitted defeat. I'm saying that weird, but it ultimately they keep denying that they're in a bad situation when in reality they're in a bad situation. They're in a garbage fire situation. A situation that, let's be real, is going to hurt them in a long run. This is not going to end. You have the parks. Yeah, the parks bring in money. That's their sole revenue. Ron DeSantis took away Reedy Creek deal. Movies aren't doing good. They're spending more monies than the movies are making in. You are in a bad situation. You have already lost. So just come out and admit it at this point. Randolph also recommended Disney to fire Marvel's Rick and Morty writers, including Quantumania writer Jeff Lovins and Avengers the Kang Dynasty. I agree. Your Rick and Morty writers are your biggest problem. Just because they worked on Rick and Morty doesn't mean they're good writers. Part of the problem there is, who do they have leading them? Who is the leadership? Leadership is everything. Over at Rick and Morty, they had, I just had his name. Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon's in a bit of a situation right now, let's be real. But you had Dan Harmon leading them. That means that he was there to guide them. Just because you worked on a good show doesn't mean you're a good writer. Who was the leader in charge? And just because you have powerhouse names on a show doesn't mean the show's going to be good. So yeah, actually get rid of your Rick and Morty writers, because your Rick and Morty writers suck. However, Jeff Lovins supposedly did have a decent show, a decent movie that was noted to death. So I don't know how that's going to fare. We will, there might be the Lovins cut somewhere. I don't know. The reason why I am giving this rumor more credit, though, isn't because of Grace Randolph. It's because of the next group of people. The claims about the Marvels testing poor with audience are backed up by Giant Freaking Robot, who actually first reported on the poor test screenings reaction 7 months ago. The site said that the Marvel Studios is getting nervous after poor test screenings of the Marvels. I 100% agree. They probably are. I'm willing to bet this movie will flop. I'm willing to place all the money in the world that this movie will flop, because it's going to be a disaster. It is not going to be good, and I'm going to laugh all the way to the bank. I will. Mark my words. Okay, mark my words. The closer we get to the Marvels time, I will be competing with the Jeremys for the most amount of Brie Larson videos. I will do it. But let me get you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it out with your friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.